Daniel Gallegos with MuleriderAthletics.com here with head baseball coach Steve Browning. Coach, it's been a while since we last talked with you, so go ahead and take a moment and get us caught up with where your program stands now and talk about the recent conference play in particular.
Okay. I like where we're at. We're sitting at the top of the conference right now. I think we're 10-2. Those two losses in conference were, one-run losses. We went to Washita 2 weeks ago and ran into a really good arm there and got beat 2-1. And then, suffered our second loss, I guess, in conference this past weekend to Henderson. Very good team. And, the game went extra inning, kind of one of those extra inning ball games. So you sit and go, man, we'd have done this differently in this inning or this different, things would have changed a little bit. But, I'm pleased. Our guys are, I'm pleased with our play on the weekend. Our guys have done a good job when it comes to conference and on the weekends and playing well. Hadn't been too overly impressed with the way we've played during some of the midweek games the last couple of weeks. But it's a learning curve. We're still, like I told them, we were still trying to find out who was going to do this in certain situations, but we're past that point now. We're halfway through the season. We've played 24 games. We got 26 left. So the learning curve needs to be over, and trying to figure out who's going to do what in what situations. We got to get that behind us and move forward. But I like where we're at. Anytime you can, 4 weeks into it, you can be, the top of the conference. That's where you want to be, and we do got a pretty tough stretch ahead of us. As every weekend in conference is tough, but we've got the next couple of weeks is really tough. I think we'll play the way the standings set now with the teams that are in the top of the conference. That's kind of who our next 3 or 4 weeks will be against, and so we kind of run the gauntlet, I guess you could say, over the next couple of weeks, and we'll find out kind of what team we really do have.
Yeah, first up for you guys, with no midweek game this week, you'll have another big conference series. It's at home. This time you guys are hosting Harding. You mentioned the conference standings. They currently sit 4th in the standings. What will be the keys for the Muleriders to have a successful weekend against Harding?
Well, they're a good team. Anytime you play Harding, they can really pitch. That's just kind of what they're known to be. They're going to throw some good arms out there. They don't give in. They make you give in to them. So offensively, we've got to be strong. We've got to make adjustments early, and but like I said, the good thing is we're playing at our place, and that's always good. To get those guys away from their field. But like I said, there's a reason why they're in the top of the standings in the conference, and I think they cracked the national polls this week, and so it'll be a good matchup for us. The key is just do what we do. That's the way it is every weekend. We're going to face good pitching every weekend. We're going to face good hitting, good, everything. The key is just take care of what we do. And if our guys go out, if our pitchers go out and do what they're supposed to do and worry about their self, and our hitters go out and play to their strength, and we field the ball cleanly, which has kind of been a nuisance for us. But if we put, a goose egg in that error column on the scoreboard, we're going to put ourselves in a situation to win the series and hopefully sweep that thing, because that's what this point where you're at, and you got to sweep series. And obviously we all know you want to win this series, but in order to win the conference outright, win the regular season championship, you've got to be able to sweep people. And so that's our mindset, But it'll be a beautiful weekend for weather, it looks like, for a change, and we'll see what happens.
All right, and up until this point of the season, there have been aspects of your team that have shown out and done particularly well, and then other ones that have kind of lagged at points. When do you feel that your team is going to get consistent in all 3 spots and really hit your stride?
Well, I hope this weekend. Traditionally, one of our key, or one of our stronger points for our program is being, we tend to find the right time to get hot, and we tend to find ways to put together long winning streaks. I think we had a 7 or 8 game winning streak earlier in the year, but we've been known to put together 10, 12, 14, 16, and so we're kind of, I think when we get to that point, when we start doing all those things together, that's what's going to happen. We haven't had too many games where pitching was great, offense was great, and defense was great. There hadn't been too many of those games. We've had a lot where 2 or 3 were there, and we've had some where none of it was there. So when you start getting to that point where when you go out there and you get great starting pitching and your bullpen, does their job, and then defensively you're picking the ball up and making the routine plays, and then offensively scoring runs, you'll look up and we'll put together a winning streak, and where you look up and you win 10 in a row against very good competition.
All right, thank you very much for your time again. A big conference weekend for your Mulerider baseball team. They host Harding University this weekend starting Friday at 6 p.m. Head baseball coach Steve Browning.
Thank you.
Thanks.